just received the Brazil.
I think after it's been quite some time we haven't actually sat and spoke about things, just to throw it straight into the podcast itself. How did you score your fight with Brad Katona? Did you watch it again afterwards?
Yes, I watched it a lot of times. And how I scored it?
Yeah.
I think, you can look at it both ways. I win and he won. We both, it's very close fight. So some judges will give him the fight, some judges will give me the fight. So you cannot really tell who won. But I did the more damage and I did more in the fight, I think.
Yeah, and if that was replayed again, let's say take you back to the past, what would you change in that fight?
I changed a lot since my fight with him. So I've been watching, before I get injured, when I was sparring that time. When I was watching his fight, I'm thinking, how did I fight like that? And I was very flat-footed. I wasn't using a lot of kicks. I wasn't, I was just chasing him while I'm doing in the fourth round. I wasn't cutting the corners. There is a lot of mistakes I think I fixed now in my game. And I think it would be really different now if we fought again.
Yeah, definitely. I think, although I thought that you didn't throw enough kicks because of the worry that he's constantly trying for the takedown. I think the whole fight, he was looking for non-stop, just going for takedowns, and you were there standing and being more aggressive. And even while he was taking you down, you didn't let him keep you there, So I think if you look at the game plan, other than doing what you did more, for me, I thought the game plan was on point,
Yeah,
you thought the same. Yeah, if that fight you had to change, something to change in that particular fight, you're telling me you'd throw more kicks if you had
I need to close, he was moving a lot to the right side. I need I had, after I was watching that fight, I recognized that when I'm fighting orthodox, if someone is moving to the right a lot and he's moving faster than me, I would have problem with catching him with the left hand.
Yeah.
So I had to fix that way of attacking from that side to close the gap,
True.
From that side. So I have developed my right kicks, I worked on my back kick, and a lot. I worked on switching stance. I was working on fighting also orthodox. So I'll work on that once I'm back to training. I'll fight orthodox. I'll fight my both stance, and I have to open up with my game because I'm only relying on left hand, left kick, and sometimes I will throw right hook. I need to open up more. So I added more weapons, like they say, to my game.
Do you think that there's a lack of trying to attack from the ground, or do you think this is something that is a philosophy of where you come from and what you've been training all your life and training with KHK as well? I think the philosophy is once you're on the ground, don't attack for submissions, look for standing up and get on a better position, or do you think that there's something there where you think I need to go into more of a grappling? Maybe next time I'm taken down, I need to attack with submissions.
I work on my attacks from ground. I have if you watch some fights, sometimes when I get down, I would attack from ground. But with him, he was good at keeping his weight forward. So it's hard to attack him from the ground. The best way is just to stand up. He has good grappling and not that kind of guy that you would get some attacks on him from the ground.
And you had great training camp. I think when you got into the fight, I'm sure that you've trained, your team has analyzed Brad. When you got into the cage, when you started fighting, was there something that you felt like, okay, now I know how he is, as Brad? Maybe it's the strength that he had, or it's something to do with the punching, the kicking, anything that surprised you?
To be honest, no. I did a really hard camp, and we knew that he would be strong because I watched him fight with a lot of good fighters, and he would use his strength, and he fights different with in each fight, you know, like he's smart guy, like he's technical guy, like he won't win because he's aggressive or because he's, let's say, he has some talent or something. No, he's very technical guy. He would study his opponent and he'll fight different. Like you see my fight, like how he fought me and how he fought Gamzat is totally different.
Correct.
Yeah, so I knew that he would have some different, like I didn't know exactly how he would fight me. So the main problem I did is like I didn't attack more in the first round and the second round. Like our game plan was like come attack and then we'll start attacking in the fourth and fifth round. And that was a mistake because I attacked in the fourth and fifth round, but it wasn't enough. Like we thought, okay, I would be able to finish him, but that was a mistake. Like I should not always like, we knew that since I began my career. Like you shouldn't think that you will finish someone. Like you should go for the rounds. But in this fight, we thought that we'll finish him, and that was a mistake in the game plan.
Do you think that's because you had too much respect for him going in there?
No, it was just like because I see like when he start to attack for takedowns, he start to gas out after in the end of the third round. So I knew that with 5 rounds, he'll slow down in the fourth and fifth, and it happened. Like he started to slow down in the fourth and fifth. So I think I should push the pace more from the beginning next time if I fight him, because I was so much. I'm a slow starter as well, and that was something bad that happened in the fight. I was measuring the distance. I was throwing 1 punch, 2 punches in the round, and he won the first round just by throwing some low kicks, not because a big difference happened. And the big difference, he won because of the first round, you know.
Yeah.
So, but just because of more low kicks, I didn't throw anything. He won. It's not good way. Like you think
It's tough to swallow.
Yeah.
Do you think you learned the most out of this fight than any other fight in your career?
I think I learned more in the 3 fights that I lost than any other fights.
Yeah.
Every time I lose, it's like losing is better than winning. Like if you can really capitalize on losing, and you'll get more energy when you lose. To train, you'll get more focus. You should. I always think, why did I lose? And I start to develop my game plan. I won't fight right away after I lose. I'll take some time off and I'll change the way I fight. I couldn't show how I changed my fight because always, like after I lose, the first fight after I lose, I become more timid because I just want to get back on the winning streak. That's why with more, I didn't fight as good, but I knew when I start to come back, I'll be a better fighter.
Speaking of losses, is there one that you want to get back? I know there's one that we want to see you get back in Izzadeen Al-Dabani.
Of course, like that's my dream fight.
This your dream fight?
Yes, and it's one of my 3 dream fights.
Let me guess what the other 2 are.
three losses, no?
Yeah.
But I don't know now. Like the only thing, like I don't like to fight Arab fighters. Like I did it in the beginning of my career to fight international. So I like to fight international fighters more. But if it's on the belt or some higher, like some good fight, why not? But at the moment, like I don't think like I'm focusing on international.
It's not a short-term goal for sure. It's something that, I totally get it. And I think that sometimes, when you're in the region and you understand the story of Hamza, you know the story of Izzadeen and people, the fans that follow them, it is something that you want, but also if there's something on the line, it just makes it even more sweeter. But there's a point that you mentioned, and it clicks me because you said that you're a slow starter. You're a slow starter because is that usually your game plan? Because you have trust in your cardio, your gas tank, and you know that if it's a title fight, yes, I can go all the way to 5 rounds and I'm fine. I'm not going to be in a position where I'm going to be gassing out. Or is it something that is a mental thing as well, where you really want to feel everything and, make yourself believe that I've got this, there's nothing surprising me. That's the hardest punch he could give. That's the best takedown shot he can give. But to make yourself feel convinced, why do you think that slow start happens? Because that's something I've seen in Shorty as well. Every fight he starts really slow. He's a slow starter himself, but I don't know what's the thing behind it. Is it for your side? Is it a game plan thing or?
No, it's not game plan. I want to, even in sparring, like I'll do the worst in the first round, like till I get few punches. I'll get like It's just like I don't feel I'm in the fighting mood, like you're very calm. Like when you get punched or something, you get like my adrenaline doesn't get raised from the beginning. I feel like very calm. I don't know why. Even in sparring, like I'll be very. I won't get the distance as well.
Have you changed? Like, is there something leading up to the fight, like before you enter the cage, right? Your backstage, that preparation. Have you tried to?
I tried, like we started to spar before we go in. We'll do hard spar, like hard sparring for 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Me and Eldar. It made me start faster, but still like that, not as fast as we should go. You know.
Do you think you're subconsciously trying to download the data, like from your
I
opponent?
won't get the distance. Even if I would attack in the first round, I would get very close, or I'll throw something from far. I won't get the distance very good, and I won't be as aggressive, you know. Like, but then I will start to feel more I'm in the fights, and I see it with many fighters. Like they'll start to feel the distance, and then they'll start to throw everything. And to be honest, I don't know. Like 11 years now, I don't know how to fix this. I'm trying to fix. That's the most thing I'm trying to fix. But I'll be more like, because I know it, I'll be more defending in the beginning, you know, till I feel comfortable, I'll start to attack.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought it's a lot to do with, like you said, downloading as much data so that subconsciously you'll start feeling comfortable that I do understand whether it's a distance or whether it's a power, all of that. I do get an idea of it. And you just start convincing yourself that now I'm ready for it. And you need that little bit of that, give me a little bit of space, you know, give me that little bit of time for me to, all the preparation I did. And that's part of your preparation before you start the fight. So your preparation is not before you start the fight, actually. It's also that 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes of your first round. It's also part of your preparation. And then your actual fight starts because you need that information to complete your preparation.
Yes, true.
And I always think that's the case. When I used to fight as well, I used to always have this issue. And I knew that that's there. And that freaks me out more, that I know that I'm going to require that 5 minutes or 3 minutes. And it could turn out really bad as well, you know, like sometimes you're going to be there, you're going to be like, I should fool myself that doesn't exist, and go in and don't think about downloading data. Let him deal with all the data I'm going to give. And you want to go and keep him busy from thinking, and just messes with your head. So I don't know. I think there could be, but you have ended up starting fast much more than what you used to before.
Yes, yeah. I think that's because of the sparring we do backstage.
Okay.
Yeah, we would spar and I'll get heated up. But sometimes from the sparring till you go to the cage, it would take some time. The walk-in and the announcement and that, and then...
It's crazy how a lot of people don't know how these time and these little things in fights, because the more I'm talking to you, I'm also thinking that if I do that sparring, if it was me doing that sparring, I would be messed up, because as soon as I go in, you spar the way whoever you're sparring with, your coaches or your training partner, and then it's a completely different rhythm that happens when you go in, and you're like, oh shit, I just switched that rhythm completely. I would rather have started without a rhythm than deal with something completely different, you know? It's just people, it's a lot of things during a fight that people really don't understand. As fans, we just watch it, but that walk that you go through and the mentality that what's going through your mind when you take that walk. And I know that you're one of those people who are not taking all that pressure. You've always said that when you walk to that fight, when that crowd is screaming,
even with half of Bahrain behind him.
Yeah.
If you've never seen a KHK walkout, you need to watch Hamza's, because it's the whole of Bahrain is literally behind him. Every KHK member ever.
I had my brother call me and he's like, he's ordering something from Talabad, but people are not there.
All his workers have joined in.
Half of Bahrain is there. People are not walking in the streets anymore. But yeah, how is that for you? Like with all this energy, what goes through your mind when you're making that walk? I mean, not just the people behind you and the support that you're getting, but when you take that walk in your mind, is it running the game plan, running the scenario, you're starting? What's in your mind usually when you walk into the cage? You stay in the cage, and then do you have Carlos doing his Carlos and giving a name? What's that process like?
Like when I'm going to the cage, or
walking in the cage, you're backstage, you have an emotion. When you walk out, there's an emotion. And when you're inside the cage, he's right in front of you. There's nobody else. There's no people walking behind you. You're there. You know, it's 2 minutes after they're going to close the cage.
Like I get nervous when it's the fight time, but like before the fight, let's say a few hours before the fight. That's why I like to go to the venue early, because the earlier I go, I would start to build the confidence back. because you start thinking what would happen. Maybe I would, like a lot of people are scared from public speaking, but I always say, like, imagine like taking your shirt off and fighting in front of people.
Fighting people in a steel cage in your underwear.
Yeah, that's much harder. You know? So that scares me sometimes, but not sometimes, every time. Like maybe you'll get punched in a bad way, you'll get humiliated, they'll do memes on you. There's a lot of things that could happen. And not everyone is willing to go through that, But when you go through that, that's how I think you can grow more. And then, like before, like till they call my name, till the walkout, I'll start to feel more my confidence will start to back up. I'll start to build myself, and then while I'm walking, my confidence will be back. Like I'll feel more confident than normal days. Like I feel the most confident I feel is while I'm walking to the cage and I'm in the cage, like all through my life. Like that's the most confident I feel, because I feel that's the only thing that I worked really good or really hard for, Like I didn't have any plan, or let's say I didn't have any, I don't know how to say in English, but let's say it again. Like I didn't have any plan before fighting, in my life. Like I didn't think I want to do that, or I work hard towards something. But in fighting, that's where I train really hard for. So I feel very confident when I go, and I try not to think about anything. It's just like I'll try to think like we used to fight before. It's just a fight. Yeah. Let's fight. Let's see. Like when you fight on the streets or you'll fight in school, it's just let's fight. You won't care if like you lose or win. Just like True. I'll beat you, I'll beat you. Let's go. So that's what I try to think. Like that's it. Now, all the crowd, all the music, they don't matter. It's not real. The only real thing is a fight. So when I go there, it's just like me and him. It's a fight. I don't care about what's outside, the crowd. I'll just like separate things. I'll try, and that's what I've been doing in the last few fights. I'll just separate things, and I'll be like hungry to fight.
And it's not easy to do that as well, right? I mean, to be able to have that tunnel vision, I mean, a lot of things come into your head. Everybody talks about that, how much things, your family, your life, your, like you said, will I get embarrassed, will I not get embarrassed? All of those things come into your head. Do you think that also leading up to all of this, what's your favorite way of, there's sometimes when you have an opponent, you got a call, you're fighting, this is your opponent, and then until the real day comes in, the fight day comes in, there's a lot of respect and calmness and humbleness, and then there is another side which is all trash talk and yelling and I'm going to beat this guy up. Where do you feel more comfortable? Is it when sometimes you have so much respect, and we've seen that with Connor's fight with Dustin Poirier first fight, there's so much respect, and the person changed.
Yeah.
I mean, he changed as a person in terms of how he's supposed to take that energy out or bring that energy out. Which part for you is better? Would you like that kind of drama to exist?
I think I like to hate someone while fighting, but
okay.
I never had that. I never had trash talk between any opponent. But when an opponent is good, like sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I feel I don't want to beat him. Like
I don't want to beat him.
Yeah, like if he comes, hey, and he starts talking good, like you would understand, like because all fighters have tough life,
Yeah.
Every fighter goes through a lot of hard work and training, and they'll be sacrificing a lot of their life to do that. Sure. So when they come, they start talking, you'll understand that we are almost the same, but just different guys, and we're fight. Like we have a lot of similarities with him. So I don't like to think that, I don't want to see anything about him, about his life, about his family. I try to do that so I can try to beat him more. And maybe I think I would like to have someone that I hate more. Like I wouldn't try to disrespect someone. Like I wouldn't go and disrespect someone. But if someone would disrespect me, then I won't be quiet,
You wouldn't start it. You wouldn't take the lead.
I won't start like disrespecting someone, but if they'll do it, like I won't like.
And you wish that they do it so I can hate the person.
Yeah, I want to do that more. Like I'm ready for it.
That's crazy. Yeah. I think, but with your mentality of what you were saying about having the hate and you want to go and beat the person up, and then switching that mentality of being there and thinking that have the tunnel vision. It's just a fight. I think it all matches up. I think that's the right mentality to bring in that makes you feel comfortable. But also, just to jump in, how does not fighting for a long time? I know you've is coming out of an injury now, and how is that recovery process for you?
It's good. It's hard. Like I didn't fight for like since October last year, and after that I got married, and after the marriage I hurt my shoulder, and then when I started training in the 4th week, like I rested 3 months, and then I was going really crazy because 3 months I wasn't training, and then when I started training, I had this ACL injury, and now it was really hard when I knew that I had an ACL surgery, like injury. I knew that it would be a long process, you know, and I was always saying like if I get an ACL injury, I would just stop fighting. Before, like I'm not gonna go through that and do it again. So the moment I knew I had an ACL, I'm like, I think I'm done, you know, the first few days. But then I'm like, I think I believe that God give you sometimes tests, you know, give you tests to make you stronger, because I felt I need one more test or one more loss, and I have to build up from it. And you can see a lot of like high level fighters, they like I did a lot of research about ACL when I got it, and I saw a lot of, like, let's say 30% of athletes who get an ACL, they would come much stronger. 70% they'll just lose confidence and they won't play as much, they'll just do it like that, and it's all mental. And I really believe that the best thing I have is mental. Like my mental is strong. Like you can see, like Habib, like he had 2 ACLs and he wanted to stop that time. McGregor had an ACL, GSP had an ACL, Dominic Cruz. Like you can see a lot of big names, they had an ACL one time through their career. And to get through that has a lot of mental, you should be really patient. You have to study yourself. Because you'll have a lot of free time. You'll get a lot of free time at home. And like I saw a lot of athletes here in Bahrain and some other athletes, what they'll do when they get ACL injury, they start eating fast food, they'll relax, they'll go out with friends. I didn't do that. I stick to my diet. I started reading. I started to watch more fights. I started to watch fight breakdowns, studying. Like I didn't stop working, you know. I'm working on my mind. I'm developing my mind. Now I started coaching back to the gym, started coaching. So like martial arts, still I'm developing my mind. So when I get back to training, I'll know how to come back much faster, much better. And I think that's the time where I'll build. I realized a lot of mistakes. I started watching all my fights, a lot of things I'm doing. So I think when I come back, I believe like I'll come back much better, much different guy.
And it's mentioned GSP. I think he had one of the best recoveries for knee as well, right?
Yes, he had. I watched the thing about his recovery. He did very good, and he said, and one thing he said, like I always wanted to do more, but they were telling me to calm down because it's not good. And same thing, like I want to push, and the doctors are telling me no, wait, don't wait, and I want. Because I feel I can push, but like you don't know.
It's the most. This is what happened with my shoulder surgery. I had my shoulder surgery, and then I was really trying to figure out from the doctor, from the physio, that I was like, how would you know if my shoulder is 100% ready? You know, like how would I know? He's like, you would know it if you can carry 7 kg, then you are ready. I'm like, okay, I can do it tomorrow. I just go and lift 7 kg. And there you go, the second surgery starts, you know. So
if you that's the worst thing to tell you.
Yeah. I'm like, if you want me to do it, I'll do it. You know, it doesn't matter. So always I've learned from all the surgeries that you have to take it easy. You have to be calm. I think, especially with a knee injury and ACL, I think whoever have done it the best way, it's just that gradual progression that you have to go through. And you're right. I think it's the mental strength you need to develop at this stage, because that's also one of the toughest time to be out for. What now? How long will you be before you're back?
Like they say it's from 6 to 9. Like most people is 9, but I think I will do it in 6.
You're taking that as a competition now?
That's 6 months post-surgery or 6 months post-injury?
Post-surgery.
Okay. Like, and you had your surgery when?
I had it now, like I'm in the 7th week.
Okay.
So like, thank God, alhamdulillah, that my progression is better than average. So I'm trying to increase it more, better than average. So I need to come back. At least I'll start boxing at 6 months. If not grappling, I'll start boxing at 6 months. So I'll start training like till I'll see like how it is. Like I won't just see if it's bad. I won't just say okay, it's good. I'll go back to training, but I'll push it. Like in this 6 months, I'm eating good. I'm also like I'm not just going to the rehab center. Like I'm doing more in recovery. I'm doing everything. I'm doing extra. So inshallah, I'll do it in 6.
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, ultimately, what you have to feel the best, right? You have to be at the top. How is it like for you? Like, because this is one of the questions I actually want to ask one of the doctors as well. For the last time when we were supposed to have a podcast, I was always thinking about this, that the challenge of not understanding physiotherapy, and you do your physio, and you can recover completely, right? You recover completely. You have your range of motion. You have your strength in your legs. And that's where they leave you. I mean, I don't mean everybody, but that's where it looks like it's stopped, it's done. And they're like, all right, go back home, And you're like, but from that starts a new rehabilitation to go back to performing at the highest level of sports that you have performed before. And that separation I've never really seen. I'm always worried about that separation, that if we get that difference between the both, it's not fully recovering, getting that strength back, getting that range of motion back. That's there. That's what we think as 100% recovery. But then from there to be not worrying about somebody going for a heel hook for you, or a knee bar, you just feel cringy with just listening to it. But that I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with going at the highest level and not worrying about things, So in your training program, do you have this kind of phases? Do you have a calendar of what is that recovery and your strength and the motion you need to get back, and when do you get back to actual fighting?
Yeah, the rehab center I'm going, they have like, it's not just strength. Like today I started, like this week I started hopping on one leg, the injured leg. Like I'm jumping on it and it's very scary. Like it's nothing. You just feel like I can't do that, and then you do it and you see the balance and everything, and then they start to gradually do more. You start to jump, coordination, footwork. So after you finish the strength, that's why I trained there for almost 3 hours. So first 1 hour maybe you'll do like 30 minutes. You'll do some mobility work, then you'll do some strength work, and then you'll start the coordination and jumping. They'll increase it day by day, and then they'll start doing it really hard. You'll start jumping with one leg, box jumps. Like it would go hard, so you'll feel confident. You need to, like the day you should leave the rehab center, you should feel confident. Like I can do it. And they have their program. They said that they rehabbed around 300 ACLs since 3 years. So they know what they're doing.
303 years.
303 or 4 years. And most of them are athletes, football athletes, handball athletes. So they're very specialized in ACL and rehab.
Where do you do the rehab?
Said Physiotherapy.
Okay. Have you ever had to go through any serious injuries?
Not really, nothing too serious.
Yeah, you look like the guy who had
I've been quite lucky. I've managed to heal them all myself. Like I had a very bad shoulder for a year or so, but do you know what fixed that? Is hanging from the bar. Every single day, without fail, I'll hang for at least a minute.
Try it, maybe your shoulder will
come out. I'll hang from the bar. It'll be just my hand and I'll be on the floor.
But yeah, that's the only one. Nothing,
yeah, but I've heard that.
serious.
I've heard that hanging from the bar. But that's if your shoulder is not
completely separated.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it then. Mine wasn't separated. I just I've had a knee injury as well, but only grade 1. Nothing serious. I've been lucky.
That's good. So we should get you injured in the coming future. But,
Great.
Now, just Hamza, important question. That was maybe one of the best bantamweight title fights I've seen with you and Brad Kitton, and that's why I just want to ask you what you thought about it, because we've been talking about it since that fight. Every time we meet with Carlos, Kirik, and Phil, we always have this conversation about what did you think about the fight. Although it's the same answer all the time, but we still talk about it because that was a very close fight. A lot of people thought differently about the fight. I remember a lot of our guys thought that you won the fight. I was talking to the TV talents, and they thought that you won the fight. With that split decision, do you think that...
The Irish judge thought that he won the fight.
Yeah. And I think that
which was mad.
yeah, and I think it was funny at that time that his coaching team thought that the Irish judge was
Well, the first thing you said to me when you came out of the cage, it was like, it was an Irish referee, like it was my fault. I'm like, the Irish judge gave it to you.
yeah.
Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do.
He thought that you won the fight, yeah. But that that puts you in a position where you have the belt is vacant and it's putting you are the number one ranked bantamweight. It's your rematch that's supposed to be for that belt, and here we have a vacant title, and we have Nkosi and Shorty fighting for that belt. Do you feel like that's my belt that they're fighting for?
Of course, I didn't like it when I heard the news, but also like I cannot say anything. I'm out for a long time, so I'm like, okay, that's what. Of course, that's what happens, you know.
Yeah, it is a sport, right?
Yes.
The show must go on, and that was a very bad thing to say. But
Hamza's like, yeah,
yeah, without me, yeah.
yeah. Who do you want to win?
Of course, Shorty is our friend, you know, for a long time. We know him.
But bear in mind the winner's next. Like,
Huh?
who do you want to? You want, even though he's your friend, you want to fight him?
Oh yeah, I think that question would have different areas, right? Like I think
Yeah.
It has a lot of answers.
Yeah.
yes, it's like who do you want to win emotionally?
Yeah.
Like as a feelings for the individuals. Who
But then
do you
you
want
got to
to
fight your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. Good question. I want
Yeah,
to know.
like of course I won't fight Shorty if he wins, but Shorty is like our friend for a long time. Even when we went to the States, he was helping me, helping Ahmed, and he's a good guy, you know, and he's more experienced. Like my fight before with Brad, I thought like experience doesn't matter, like it's a fight, but after the fight, I recognized that, especially in 5 rounds fight, experience would play a big role in the fight. But there is a big size difference. I think that's the advantage Nikoski have is the height and the size.
Yeah, and he knows how to use it. I mean, like
Yes.
when I thought about it, I was thinking that, okay, you always have these guys who are long reach and they have a really good reach, but then that's also their weakness because the guy can come inside and he's going to move in, slip your punches, he's going to be in close distance, and that's your worst place to be. But that's where Nkosi, I think, is special because you get him, you're clinching with him, you're having your body clinch, you're going for those takedowns. He knows how to use his elbows and knees, and he does that really well.
He's also freakishly strong. He's got that wiry kind of strength. Like he's long, he looks long and gangly, but he's not. He's actually really strong, which you don't expect, I don't think, or I don't think opponents expect it from him. But I've seen him warm up a few times out the back and seen him do some things, and I'm like, wow, he can do a standing backflip into shadow boxing like Eliezer can. You wouldn't expect that from that kind of build. He doesn't look that powerful, that strong. So I think opponents also think that also. So when they get in there with him, I think it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, 5'10". He's 5'10". I don't think a lot of bantamweights would be there at his height. So he's got that reach. He knows how to use it. I think that when I watch his fights and I see him throw those elbows and knees, it's devastating. It's dangerous elbows and knees that he throws all the time, and also from different positions. Like it doesn't matter. Like I have to throw the elbow while he's in front of me. When he's on a single leg takedown, I would throw
And
the
he
elbow.
have good knees, like especially for someone
Yeah.
who's like Shorty's height. He should be worried about the knees, especially down the middle when Shorty will be closing the distance.
Yeah, and
Because he's going to shoot. We know he's going to shoot.
Shorty.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm not saying that he wouldn't go for a takedown. Definitely he would go for a takedown. But I don't think that Shorty is going to be that guy who's going to stay and think that, let me go for a takedown. I just feel like he's going to walk in with his head movements and tries to just make Nkosi walk backwards, and fight backwards the whole time. I get the takedown, great. He's back on the cage, I'll go for the clinch. But I never seen Shorty desperately going for takedowns. I've always saw him, he have that respect for his boxing and he feels very confident about his boxing. I'm still stuck with that thought that I think...
Here's a caveat to that. He was always fighting guys his size. The last time he fought Izzadine Adebani, who was a lot bigger than him. How did he win that fight? He took it. He on the feet in the first round. It was very competitive, but then he just started shooting because he was a much bigger guy.
He wasn't. He was taking him from body locks takedowns. I think. Yeah, he's good in the body locks, and they were getting so close. He wasn't shooting. He was very good at blocking and going in, and then he was using the body locks to take him down. Like he have good takedowns from the upper body.
Upper body locks.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people underestimate that. I was just talking to the team and listening to his story. I never really knew that he was a black belt in karate as well.
Shorty.
Yes. So
Well, he's won something in every martial arts by the look
Yeah.
of them.
He have good, like if you see his resume, he have like he fought a lot of tough guys, even bantamweight.
Yeah.
Like through his amateur career, like after his amateur career, he won 2 belts. Like he had a lot of fights where you thought like he won't win, and
yeah.
and he always, like when he fights really different.
True.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Shorty, right? Always he's also made that big changes. I mean, if you look at the amateur with IMMAF, I think he's the first one to win 2 world championships. I think he's always been that guy who's not looking at how can I achieve what others have achieved. He's always going to go there and try to make history. He's always looking for something new. But bantamweight, like you said, Nkosi is taller than him, but also at the same time, for Shorty, this is that fight that he has to go out there and prove something. I mean, it's a challenging situation for him as well, because the stage is big. We're talking about the first ever Pan American Championship that's happening in Colombia. It's Brave Pan American Combat Week. Shorty is there representing IMMAF and what the roadmap of what IMMAF and Brave is doing, and to see that results. 2-time world champion, 2 division Titan FC champion, fought in the UFC, came to Brave Combat Federation. He's done really well, and then the whole world was for him to take. Shorty was the guy. He is the best flyweight in the world. He is the best bantamweight in the world, and that mentality was there that this guy's going to be on the top of the world. And then a lot of unfortunate tragedies goes through in his life, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I think, again, like you said, it's the mental strength and how you train your mind. Shorty found a way when, I think in the early stages, he wasn't being honest about it. He wasn't speaking out about it. And it showed up with cancellations of fights and how he had to pull out of the fight because he couldn't manage the mental side of things. And I think it just got better when he started speaking about it and talking about what he's really going through. And it is important for him. And that time that he was missing from the fights and mentally recovering from all of this challenges that he's going through, I think there was a small time when everybody forgot about him, and we just slept on Shorty, that hype, that the guy who could have taken over the world, that's gone away, that aura has gone away slightly. And then he's coming back with the biggest opportunity, and he can make that statement. So I don't know how much I don't know if that's a positive thing or if that would be a negative thing, or would that be something that, he's that individual. I mean, you guys have trained together since 2015. 2015, You guys started KHK in Bahrain when you had Khabib, Islam, yourself, Eldar, France Malambo, James Gallagher, Shorty Torres. I think that was a team.
What a time.
Yeah, the whole crew was here training. It was fun. We had Alex Soto, Pete Williams, Frankie Edgar. So that was
You must have been blown away.
Yeah.
No words. Yeah. That must have been amazing.
Everybody was hungry. You look at that group of people that was there at KHK in the beginning. They were all hungry. They all wanted to take over the world. They were all like, and they did. I mean, everyone from that group has done something phenomenal.
Islam was there as well, no?
Islam to Islam, Khabib, Frankie. Yeah, it was a crazy time just seeing these guys train. It was amazing. But so him from that time, it's been almost 7-8 years. You guys know each other. Where do you think that fight is going to go? Is it going to be decided mentally? Is it going to be something that is too much of pressure for him? Is that a title fight that he's going to bring all that aura back and get back to that line of becoming that best?
Just before you answer that, it's also, don't forget, this is the 3rd time they've been matched to fight each other in a row.
And Nkosi and Shorty.
Yeah. the last two have been cancelled for whatever reason. So it's the third time. This time it's for a belt. Are they sick of each other? Are they sick of trying to prepare for each other? The camps have been so long, but now it's for a belt. Does that add extra pressure to it? Like, I'd be sick of the guy.
Sometimes they also think that longer camp is not that healthy. You know, you just keep preparing for a guy.
And this has been 2 long camps because it's been consecutive.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, and one of them was they couldn't. The fight was cancelled because of visa issue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So they were literally all the way to the end. They were preparing for a fight.
Yeah.
It's crazy if you prepare for someone for 6 months and then back fight number 1, fight number 2, and then you're going again, and the stage is getting bigger, and the opponent is still the same. Do you like a long camp? Would you prefer a long camp or a short camp?
Not very long and not short. Like 10 to 12 weeks is good.
Okay.
But I should be in shape before that. Like if that's a high level fight, a good like I prepared for Katona that like I was already in shape, and then I knew 10 weeks of training before the fight. That was the best camp I had, and it was really good. Like I shouldn't worry about cardio. My cardio is good, so I'll just worry about the game plan for 10 weeks. That's I think the best thing. But too long, like I had one in the past, it's like you'll go to the fight and you'll be thinking, I just want to finish this. You know, long time diet and cutting weight and a lot of sparrings and the same routine for like, let's say for 3 months or 4 months. Like sometimes it's just too much. You'll go to the fight, you won't have energy to fight. You'll just like, what it like.
It's not motivation as well because of...
Yeah.
Do you have metrics as to like where you know you're in shape? So you said you're going into shape. Like, do you do specific runs every single camp, of, for example, where you know your times, you know exactly how fit you are because last camp you did it this time? Like you said, 10 weeks before Katona, you knew you were in shape. How did you know you're in shape? Like, obviously, you know, I work in the fitness industry. We know we're in shape, but it's different when you're trying to get into fight shape than looking good. So you might look like you're in shape, but how do you know you're in fight shape? Do you do the same things all the time? Like what is it?
Oh, every fight camp it would be, you'll add more because you'll learn more from the previous camp. But mostly like first you need to be able to spar like with tough opponents for 5 rounds, like different opponents each round. That's the first thing. You need to see your heart rate. So I would know, like I would measure my heart rate every morning. I would know like I need to get it below 42 or below 43 in the morning, so I would know that my heart rate is good. Even I measure my box jumps, like how much should I be able to jump. Like close to the fight I'll be able to jump higher, I'll be much faster, my shape will look better, like everything would be different, like my weight. So everything you should be like, you shouldn't go to the sparring and like you'll be gassed out in the 3rd round or 5th round. You should do it like normal. You finish the 5 rounds, you'll be able to go more. And there is a lot of tiny things you should measure, you know, like you can run, and there is a conditioning program, of course. Sprints you need to be able to do. Like there is sprints program that we would do like 400 meters, 200 meters, you know, and there is like the jogging. You should be able to run 10K like easy. And a lot of things, like you should be able to do it, all of them.
And you like to have all of those in check before you start a 10-week camp?
No, I need to like, let's say before the 10 weeks, you should be able to spar, but to be able to check all of these before the last 3 weeks.
Right.
But last 3 weeks, because it would be like shorter training. It should be more fight specific training, more game plan. So you won't worry about the cardio and that. But you'll push in some sessions, like the conditioning sessions and all that, you'll be pushing. But you should check all these before the last 3 weeks.
Interesting.